Warren County, Granville County, and Franklin County. These are in central North Carolina, north of Raleigh, right along Highway 85. You've probably driven through this area before. Interstate 85, as you go into the state of Virginia, going through the Henderson and Middleborough area. That's where this tornado warning is in effect for. A very big tornado warning for a tornado that is located basically right near Kittrell right now. This storm moving off towards the north and east, so Henderson, South Henderson area, that'd be the main area of concern for this possible tornado. Let's switch over to the Raleigh radar, one of my other sources here, and we'll get a little bit closer and kind of pinpoint some of the areas that are of most concern. This is once again a radar indicated tornado, right? Similar to all of our other tornadoes that we've had this afternoon. And with that, the radar is indicating some inbound and outbound winds coming together and the chance for a tornado to spin up quickly in these areas. The environment is favorable for quick spin up tornadoes. And so any of these storms that are rotating today are going to have the potential to produce quick spin up tornadoes. Just saw a tornado happen in Virginia that happened very quickly, lofted some debris up to around 6,000 feet. So that's the same kind of environment we have across North Carolina and South Carolina today. That's why you want to take these storms seriously. A very messy looking tornado signature here, and kind of hard to pinpoint exactly where it would be. Let me go back. There it is. So looks like the highest risk for the tornado was probably right when the warning came out. So this tornado warning that's in effect is for this cell right here. I'm going to get a different storm track for this, and we're going to draw it up to the north using our own kind of analysis to pinpoint where this tornado would be. Moving up to the northeast at 20 miles per hour, the tornado would be right through here. And as we put it up to the northeast around 20 miles per hour, that's going to take it into these areas west of Henderson in about 10 minutes or so. So not much time along the areas west of Henderson. So right where 85, US 158 come together, and then the US 158 alternate. So as you come into Henderson from the west, from Oxford, that's where this tornado is going to be moving right now. So a tornado warning in effect for some of these counties. I would say the main area of concern is really going to be right into, let's say, Vance County and Granville County. I think those are going to be the main two counties we're going to have to watch for. And in fact, the Weather Service has already gone and clipped the other counties, Warren and Franklin County, out of the tornado warning. So now it is just these two counties of Granville and Vance under this tornado warning. And let's switch sources here for a second. So bear with me for a second as I switch sources. You're going to see a picture pop up here. I want to load up our different application because it's got a much better read on where this possible tornado would be. We're located on the Raleigh radar, and just to the west of Henderson is where this possible tornado would be. I'll put on a rotation tracker, and you can see these little blue areas right here to the south and west of Henderson would be where the possible tornado would be. Reflectivity showing a little bit of a not tornado well. This is going to be located along Simon Harris Road, basically where this tornado would be right now, heading north towards Vance Academy, east Arrowhead Lane area, and then a lot of these roads that are along one is got some roads such as, if I can get some of them to come out, Sunset Gardens, the Truman Avenue area. That's where you want to be on alert for this possible tornado as it moves up to the north and east around 20 miles per hour. This is a slower mover compared to some of our other tornadoes. And in fact, kind of going back and looking at the radar loop here over the last little bit, it looks like it's almost taking a due north jog, but sometimes these storms can become right turners. And as a result, they can take a little bit of a jog to the right, a little bit of jog to more of the northeasterly direction, which is one of the favored directions tornadoes really like to go a lot of times. So we'll keep an eye on this to see. If I was in Henderson, a little too close for comfort, at least for me, so I would probably go ahead and get my safe place in the Henderson area as this storm moves up your direction, just out of abundance of caution, since the environment is very favorable for severe weather, strong thunderstorms, and possible tornadoes across the area this afternoon. And Scotty, it's been a long morning already, and we're really just getting started with the risk for tornadoes all across the state this afternoon. And not just tornadoes, but really a significant wind threat this afternoon as a line of showers and storms pushes east as we go throughout the afternoon hours.
Yeah, let's kind of set up what's going on throughout the area. A tornado watch is out for a large portion of North Carolina and the upstate of South Carolina until 5 p.m. Another tornado watch, kind of coinciding with the other one, is up for the Columbia metro area towards the coast of South Carolina in Charleston until 6 p.m. There's also a potential watch going up for eastern North Carolina, but that won't be till a little bit later on as this line moves into that area. So, an enhanced risk of severe weather is possible, and let me see if we can pop that up here on our our radar display here to kind of just give you a better idea of what areas are seeing this threat here. So let me
I don't
pop
have
this.
the most recent watches on mine, so I'm not going to pop that up.
Okay, I've got it on mine. We'll go over here to this. So let's take the watches off first. Let's just talk about this is the latest outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. This red area right here is under a moderate risk of seeing severe weather. And that means that we could see numerous severe thunderstorms with the potential of damage and winds, tornado, and hail. If I put on the tornado threat, we'll put that on. You can see this outlined area. That is where we see we'll see the biggest chance of seeing some tornadoes. So that's just east of Charlotte, just Columbia towards the east, towards Myrtle Beach, and then up into the Fayetteville, Raleigh, Greensboro, High Point area. And then up into Virginia, and then the biggest concern that we have today will be the damage and wind potential, and you can see this is a 45% chance of seeing damage and winds. As our producer James Brierton likes to say, if you give me a 45% chance of winning the lottery, I'm going to take those odds. So, as you can see, this is a 45% chance of seeing damage and winds along Interstate 77 to the Interstate 95 corridor and just a little bit to the east. That goes into the Columbia area down towards Charleston and Myrtle Beach, even the Wilmington area under a bigger threat of seeing these damage and winds. So, the main zone right now is for central in eastern North Carolina as well as central and northeast South Carolina. So I'm going to turn the SPC stuff off. Let's go to the watch. Here is the tornado watch that goes until 5 p.m. And it goes basically from McDowell County all the way towards Raleigh. It also covers the northern part of the upstate of South Carolina as well as Virginia. And then the other tornado watch that we have covers the Columbia area down towards Charleston, Augusta, even towards Savannah. And this goes until 6 p.m. The only area not under a watch right now is I forgot to put the fill on there so you can see the tornado watches. The only area that's not under a tornado watch right now would be the Myrtle Beach metropolitan area, all the way up through Wilmington, Greenville, and then northeast North Carolina. And we do expect this area to fill in throughout the day as the line of storms gets closer to the area. So North Carolina, this is 5 p.m. The upstate of South Carolina into North Carolina, 5 p.m. tornado watch. Columbia down to Charleston is 6 p.m. The tornado watch goes until 6 p.m. And then this will be filled in later on today as the line of storm gets a little bit closer to the area, Ricky. So numerous tornado watches up, and the areas that are not under a watch in the eastern part of North and South Carolina, you will be eventually in that watch. It's just going to take a little bit more. So let's get back to that tornado warning in Henderson County, or Henderson, North Carolina, and see what's going on up there, Ricky.
Yeah, that warning continues until 11:30 this morning for a possible tornado, basically located in the Henderson area right now. A very messy radar signature, very hard to pinpoint where the tornado would be, but it's going to be basically to the west of Henderson in a lot of these areas that don't have great radar coverage, unfortunately. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly where it is. But a very messy setup too, Scotty. When we look at a wider view, look at all the rain that's been forming here across central North Carolina. It'll be very interesting to see if that impacts the severe weather risk at all this afternoon in terms of instability or anything like that, and disrupts any of the severe weather risks that we have out towards the west, still expected to move east. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go throughout the afternoon hours. But the tornado warning continues for about another 12, 13 minutes or so here for the Vance County area and extreme eastern portions of Granville County. Tornado possibly moving to the north at 20 miles per hour, just to the west of Henderson, right along Interstate 85 would be where I would put that tornado. It'd be right about in here. I don't know if my mouse shows up or not, but right about in here. just the west of Henderson and South Henderson would be where that possible tornado would be. So a good amount of area north of this warning. We'll turn this off and get a little bit closer here. It's home through here. Looks like it's going to go kind of east of the main area of Henderson. So that's some good news. But still, something you want to keep your eye on. But I would say, Scotty, this tornado risk has gone down.
Yeah, Ricky, they just canceled that warning, so
Okay.
that's some good news there. You were talking about the cloud cover in eastern North Carolina. I'm going to pop up the GOES satellite that's over the East Coast here and kind of show you what's going on there. And Ricky, we can look at it. You see these areas along Interstate 77, Hickory towards Greensboro, down towards Charlotte, and some really nice clearing going on here in Columbia, Orangeburg, over towards Sumter, the Florence area. So you can see this area that the watch is not out for right now. It's really socked in with clouds. But if you go from Hickory to Raleigh, per se, we do see some cleared in the skies. And as this line moves closer to those areas, if we can get some sunshine in this area for a prolonged amount of time, that would really help destabilize the atmosphere as that line moves in. So, Ricky, that's honestly here in Columbia, that this is kind of concerning on Interstate 20 between Columbia and Florence. That's a lot of clearing, and that could be a lot of instability for these storms to work with as they move into this area later on.
Yeah, sunshine, not something we want to see on a severe weather day. Great on those calm weather days, but not on a day when we have a risk for strong and severe storms across the area. Still one warning in effect for the state of South North Carolina. That's the severe thunderstorm warning here across southern portions. We'll get a closer view of that one. This is going to be in the Columbus County area, just to the north of just the west, of Wilmington is basically where this severe thunderstorm warning is. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning, but the environment today is supportive of quick spin-up tornadoes, so you want to remain alert even in these areas for the possibility of a quick spin-up tornado. And, take severe thunderstorm warning seriously, too, even though we, don't always take them as seriously. You should, because they can produce damage that sometimes is as widespread or more widespread than tornadoes because of their nature in these straight line winds. When we look at the radar here, I note a couple different little kinks in the line, basically. And each of those little kinks is where a possible spin-up tornado could occur. And then along the line, you see these brighter colors just kind of on the eastern side of this warning now, on the top side of this warning. That's where these strong gusty winds are going to be. So basically, if you live south of Lake Waccamaw, is that how I say it?
Yeah.
Waccamaw, that's interesting. The wind threat is going down there. But now Pender County, up into Bladen County, and eventually Sampson County, you're going to be next in line for this line of storms as it pushes up in your direction with the risk for some strong gusty winds. And I'd say it's actually looked like it's increased a little bit in its strength here over the last little bit. So you certainly want to keep an eye on this storm as it pushes up toward the north and east.
Yeah, and Ricky, looking further down on the radar, the Weather Service in Wilmington has issued a marine warning for the coastal waters of Cape Fear down to Little River Inlet, South Carolina. So if you're near the beach or something like that, you possibly could even see a quick water spout in those areas. So we will watch that threat as well as these storms kind of line up off of the Atlantic Ocean and start moving inland over southeast North Carolina and the Myrtle Beach area. So again, also wanted to let you know we have a new flash flood warning out for Henderson County. That's another threat that we've not really talked too much about today, is the flash flood threat that is possible, especially in western North Carolina. There is a slight risk of flash flooding, and from the storms of the past week or so, we've seen a lot of heavy rain move into the area. So those flash flood warnings now going up for our mountain communities, and those go until this afternoon as well. So we have flash flood warnings, we have flood advisories, severe thunderstorm warnings, we've had tornado warnings, we've had a little bit of everything this morning, and it continues to look like we're going to have a busy afternoon as these storms and this line of storms continues to move into the western part, or through the central and eastern part of the Carolinas, Ricky.
And it's only almost 11:30 a.m. So with no tornado warnings in effect, once again, we'll kind of return you to our regular programming here on this Facebook Live. If our producer James Brierton can hear me and is standing by, we're clear from severe weather coverage. So let's return to our normal production stuff, and we'll continue to monitor any of the showers and storms moving across the state. And if any tornado warnings are issued, we'll be right back with you here on the Carolina Weather Group.
Hello, everyone. Welcome